Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2 Semester 2 Review, Unit 7B. Remember to show all your work, place your final answers on the lines, and let's pay attention. Number 1, it says to solve by factoring. Okay, whenever we see the word solve, we know that we have to actually find something out for x or y or whatever the variable they tell us is going to be. Okay, so well, we do that by factoring. So let's look at number 1. Is there a GCF? First question. Always, always, always. No, no GCF. So it's a quadratic binomial and it's subtraction. So that means that I can take the square root of both of those. And it breaks down into two binomials. All right, the square root of 49x squared is 7x. And then remember, one's a plus and one's a minus. And then square root of 36 is 6. Now, everything that has a variable, we set equal to 0. All right, so we have 7x plus 6 equal to 0, and 7x minus 6 equal to 0. And then we have to solve both of those. All right, so on the left, we would subtract 6 to both sides, and we get 7x equals negative 6, and then divide by 7. So x equals negative 6 over 7. And guys, you've done this sort of stuff before. You should know how to solve it, okay? I'm not going to show all the work on the other one. We also showed you this shortcut where we take the opposite of that number. So the opposite of negative 6 is positive 6. And then we divide by 7. And that's the fast way to get the answer. Okay, so on a test, multiple choice test, the answers are going to be written in order from least to greatest. So our two answers are x equals negative 6 over 7 and 6 over 7. All right, number 3. So remember, the first thing we always check, is there a GCF? And there is. They both have an m that I can take out, but there's also a number I can take out too. Yeah, 5. So the GCF comes out front, and then the remainder goes inside the parentheses. Now, don't forget that equals 0 part. Now, the m squared minus 25, can I break that down in even more? Well, yeah, that's the difference of two squares. So I'm going to take the square root of both of those. Don't forget about that 5m, that's still there. And the square root of m squared is m. Remember, one's a plus and one's a minus, and then the square root of 25 is 5. Now, everything with the variable gets set equal to 0. Okay, 5m, the m plus 5, and the m minus 5. So those were our three things were set equal to 0. We're going to have 3 answers. So what are they? Well, do the work. Let's go. Pause the video if you need to. Okay, so the 3 answers, we get m equals 0 for the blue, m equals negative 5 for the green, and m equals positive 5 for the gray. So we're going to write those 3 answers in order from least to greatest, so negative 5, 0, and 5. All right, number 5. is there a GCF for 5? No. Okay, well that means that we need to multiply A times C, which is 81. So I'm looking for numbers that multiply to get to 81 and add to get to negative 18. Now, if you don't know this right off the back of your head, you need to write down all the factors of 81. So 1 and 81. 2 doesn't go into it, but 3 does. 3 and what? Well, use the calculators, guys. Yeah, you should have gotten 27. Okay, what about 4? Nope. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 does. So the combination that works here is 9 and 9. That works. Ugh, but that doesn't. How do I change that frowny face upside down? Well, I got to make both of those negative. But if I do it for the bottom, I have to make sure that I do it for the top, and it still works for the top. Now, since my leading coefficient is 1, I can do that shortcut where we break this up to x minus 9 and x minus 9. Everything with an x we set equal to 0, so x minus 9 equals 0, x minus 9 equals 0, and well, it's the same thing, so we're going to get the same answer. What does x equal? Yeah, you should get that x equals 9. Now, hopefully you're not just waiting for me to tell you the answer, that you guys are doing this on your own. All right, number 7. Is there a GCF? Remember, we're solving by factoring. Yes, there's a GCF. And the GCF is a n. So the GCF comes out front, and then we're left with n squared minus 6n plus 8 equals 0. So now we're going to do the same thing, where you multiply a times c. So you're looking for numbers that multiply to get to 8 and add to get to negative 6. Okay, so from here, you need to pause the video and you need to try this on your own. Okay? See if you can factor it correctly, and remember that you have to solve. Find out what n equals. Okay? Good luck. So you should have gotten n minus 2 and n minus 4. And then when you set everything equal to 0, remember, remember there are 3 n's. So 3 answers, n equals 0, n equals 2, and n equals 4. Okay, number 9. Is there a GCF? Remember, that's the first thing you want to check. Otherwise, if you start multiplying, you're looking for the factors of 112. And let me tell you, that ain't pretty, because that's what I did the first time I did the problem. I wasn't smart, okay? Take out the GCF first. The 2 comes out front. And then we're left with x squared minus what? Well, 32 divided by 2. Yeah, 16. And 56 divided by 2 is 28. And we're going to set that equal to 0. So I want numbers that multiply to get to 28 and add to negative 16. And if you don't know that, come up with your list. 1 and 28. 2 and 14. 4 and 7. Okay? We're looking at 2 and 14, and they're both what? Yeah, they're both negative. Okay, we can do the shortcut because our leading coefficient is 1. So we get x minus 2 and x minus 14 equals 0. And then we would set both of those equal to 0, but the shortcut is saying, hey, it's just the opposite. So our two answers are x equals 12 and x equals 14. And guys, remember what we're doing right there is x minus 2 equals 0. The x minus 14 equals 0. That's why I'm saying it's the opposite, because when you solve for x, we would do the opposite operation. All right. And last one for this video is number 11. How do we solve? Well, we have variables on both sides. So we need to look at which one is higher, because we want our leading coefficient to be positive. So we're going to move the smaller one. So I'm going to add the 2x squared, so that cancels, and which means I have to add the 6x as well. We get the right side equal to 0, and then we have 5x squared plus 13x plus 6. Okay, so I'll set this one up for you, but after that, you guys are on your own. We're looking for numbers that multiply to get to 30 and add to get to a positive 13. So the factors of 30 are 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6. Now for this one, you will be splitting the middle term. Okay? So go ahead and pause the video, and good luck. Whew, I'm done. All that work. No, I'm not. Remember, this is set equal to 0. Okay, we have to solve. So in the red, we would get the x plus 2 equals 0, and our answer would be x equals negative 2. And then the 5x plus 3 equals 0. So I would take the opposite of my positive 3, which is a negative 3, and divide it by 5. Okay? So last step now would be to write those in order from least to greatest. So we have negative 2 and negative 3 over 5. So that's going to be it for the first video, page 1. Video 2 will cover the back side of the review. Okay? If you have any questions, please talk to Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice signing off for Algebra 2, Semester 2, Unit 7B Review, video number 1. Thanks for watching.